when you talk about the threat of crypto, that is a real threat to that flow system of money that has to kind of always be attached. This is why it's so important that our economy is gauged off of our ability to go into debt, right? So if we, because everybody's like praises like the whole get out of debt and the Dave Ramsey approach and stuff like that. If we did that, everybody, even a large, it's not even everybody, the majority of us, if we did that, the economy would crash. Our economy is gauged by our not only our ability, but our willingness to go into debt for years. That is how important that is how much currency we have and how much we have to attach it to actual something, which is labor and time of the retail sector, i.e. us. The ability that we are, the a likelihood and the comfort that we have to take on this type of debt is the measuring stick that we use to measure the health of our economy. So if we're not borrowing money for homes, if we're not borrowing money for cars, real estate, education, and medical bills and stuff like that, that is what technically that's textbook definition of a recession. So when you have something like crypto that's coming out and you're saying that, oh, this is a way to get around it, we don't have a participating factor in this market. That's a threat to the overall system. So and people have asked saying that, okay, do you think that they're going to ban Bitcoin and stuff like that? If they do, it'll be the first of its kind, because typically what happens is, if you look back historically, what happened with gold and silver is first they made it illegal to own it. This was during like the Great Depression. They kind of did like, not illegal, but they did like a claim back and you can redeem it for a fixed amount of dollars. And then they eventually took it off in 1971. Nixon took it off. And now we have like our fiat paper currency. But they didn't say, okay, well, now you can't own gold and silver. They fixed it. If you look on the back of like a gold or silver eagle, a gold eagle will be worth exactly $50. Silver eagle, $1. And yes, it'll be incredibly stupid to trade something that's worth $2,000 or $30 for the actual dollar amount, but that silver amount or gold amount is fixated to the actual dollar. But it didn't say you couldn't own gold and silver. So you can own, those are actual coins because they are minted by the Fed, the U.S. Treasury. But you can get something like gold and silver bullion or gold and silver coins or rounds, excuse me, and you can still own those, but they have a lower premium and stuff like that, but you can still participate in the market. But the standard that they set is to have like the eagles, both of them are gold or and silver eagles. That is the standard. And the reason for that is they wanted to have participation in the market and to say that, okay, this is less likely for the angle they took. This is less likely for fraud. This is backed by the U.S. government. It has extra protection. It's worldwide, world renowned. In most countries, they have they have like the Chinese panda, the Austrian Philharmonic, the kookaburra, the Canadian maple leaves. All these nations have their different coins or gold and silver coins that they print by their governments. And this is a way to kind of combat that retaliation of, okay, well, let's just all trade around it so that they can have a participation in the market. And I think that's kind of the angle that they're going to have here with crypto. I think they're going to have a participation in the market and really just say that, okay, well, we don't necessarily want to ban crypto, but we're going to have a recommendation that you can use our actual coins. So that is, I won't say it's an attack, but it's not a direct attack to kind of like ban it altogether or something like that. But it is certainly an opportunity for you to participate in the market and also have the government have that control that they want. Because the second thing that they're going to do is persuade businesses to take, obviously, the Fed coin. Because if you say utility, then you'll say that, okay, well, we want something to trade with Bitcoin and Satoshis or Dogecoin and stuff like that. you'll say, okay, well, we want to have utility and be able to trade in and out of that. And the angle that this is going to happen, which is why these scandals and all this kind of stuff kind of gets blown up, because you'll see stuff like, oh, the FTX scandal, and all of these exchanges, they're stealing money and going bankrupt. Meanwhile, there is mass manipulation and mass BS going on in the stock market. But because of the lack of regulation in crypto, they're going to be able to push and say that, see, this is why A, we need a regulation, which I do agree with, and B, the Fed coin is going to prevent that. And this is something that you can use to kind of trigger businesses to say, hey, you know what? Instead of going with, such and such coin, let's just use the government's coin. It's backed by the U.S. military. And if you do any fraudulent stuff like that, you go to prison, and it's less likely to go, bankrupt, or the exchange is going to disappear. Instead of taking X coin, let's make sure that we use that Fed coin. And then boom, the United States is in the crypto market, and now the leading issuer of crypto. And then, of course, that will be pushed out on a global scale as well. They're like, hey, look, if you guys are having issues here with BTC and fraudulent stuff, and next thing you know, it'll be crypto is funding terrorism, and all the drug dealers are using crypto and walking around with ledgers and stuff like that. Whatever narrative they have to get you to use their coin, you can have that. And they'll say that, the guy on the corner that's selling weed and cocaine, he has a ledger and he wants to do a BTC transaction or a Dogecoin transaction with you. So you better use that Fed coin so we can keep an eye on it and crack down on crime and not fund, terrorism or whatever. And this will happen on a global scale. That's kind of what I think. I think we're going to see something very similar to what happened with precious metals.